isn't this analysis? Isn't that what's called analysis? You know? So we started using the tag analysis on any posts that we considered analytical. And I became obsessed with that kind of being the defining line between stuff I liked and stuff I didn't like. Because value judgments are not interesting to me. I don't care that someone liked a piece of media or not. I care what it did to get that effect. And reviewers talk about that sometimes. The good ones do. You know, like, I like Roger Ebert's reviews. I read a shitload of them. They had a big influence on me. But, like, it wasn't whether he liked the movie or not that was interesting. It was what he had to say about the specifics of it, you know? And there's his overall read on the soul of the movie, so to speak. And so, you know, I might agree with him on what he saw in the film and just feel differently about whether I like that or not, you know? And that's something that's only possible because he was describing why and not just that. And so when you start describing why, though, the reasons are often really similar. You know, like, why is this thing good? Because it followed all the rules of what makes a thing good and also did a little of its own thing, you know? Or, oh, it broke all the rules that would normally make something good, but it did its own thing so much that it's usually pretty easy to get into why it's bad, why it's good. Usually they fail for the same reasons or they succeed for the same reasons, you know? So to me, there's only so much media analysis you can do before it just is the same shit. Like, you're just saying the same thing about a different show. And so that's the biggest trouble I always had writing about anime, is that people would want me to just kind of talk about every show they like and, like, okay, well, apply your logic to this show. And I'm like, you could do that. You can apply my logic to that show. I gave you the logic. I gave you the tools. You don't need me to do this, you know? So I can't feel compelled to do something I don't feel like I need to do. Like, if I don't feel like people, if I feel like people are coming to me because they want me to, because they already have the answer and they think I will get the same answer, and so they want me to watch the show so that I will write about the answer they already found, write your own fucking video. You know, like, that's, I used to do that to my brother Victor all the time. Like, Victor would, you have to watch Ucho Tenkazoku. You'll have such an interesting analysis of it. And I'm like, you're making me not want to watch the show because now I feel like I have to get the same profound message out of it that you do. And if I don't, you know, if I get something different, I don't know if I'm going to write the video you think I'm going to be able to write, you know? And the one time he did this with Mob Psycho, my Mob Psycho video, which has like 1 million views, literally happened because I stood in the kitchen with Victor and I said, like, what anime do I need to talk about right now? And he was like, Mob Psycho 100. You have to write an analysis. And I said, what do I need to say about it? And then he broke down the themes of the show, what makes it interesting. And so I just kind of watched the show to confirm that what he said was true. And then I wrote basically what he said, you know, like, in my own words into a script. And it's like, here's exactly why Victor says that Mob Psycho 100 needed to be talked about by me. And, like, you know, he didn't feel that he could find the precise words to make that come across the way I did, which is why he thought I needed to make the video and not him, you know? But to me, it's kind of like he did make the video for me so I could redo it, you know? Like, I see that as more of an editing role than as a necessarily creative one, because maybe I would have come to the same conclusions about Mob Psycho, but I watched the show under the presupposition that it had these themes and I confirmed them, you know? So, like, so I think maybe if more people were just feeding me more information, like, if people were just literally giving me like a 2-page script on a show and being like, here's my shitty version of what I want you to rewrite, and that was happening all the time, which I'm sure is how a lot of anime reviewers are doing it. You know, I happen to know that a few of the top AniTubers had a writing team, you know, they're not just, but usually just to confirm stuff. Like, you know, like Nino used to work for Gigak in the role of just being his guy to make sure that he's saying, like, correct shit, you know, like, hey, am I right if I say this about samurai anime or whatever? And Nino can go, yes, or well, actually, and then explain some other shit. Like, I've never really done that kind of collaborative level with my writing. It tends to be more of just like a mind to paper, like all at once. Very rarely that I've done like collaborations with like Tommy Oliver back when he was Brony Curious in the early days, like, so yeah, like, just I feel like I lost track of what I was trying to say there. What was I answering? What would it take for me to be a top anime reviewer? I guess, yeah, it would take me to get a lot more information from other people and rely less on my own creativity, which is not that interesting to me. Like, which is why I don't feel like I want to go that route, because, I just feel like you get further and further from like really sending a message if you're just like kind of sending everyone else, like if you're just speaking on behalf of the people, then I see how that works for people who themselves are not going out and reading a lot, right? But like, if, for instance, I watch a YouTube video where I feel as though that person is basically just collecting public sentiment and repeating it, I've already seen the public sentiment. Like, I don't want to hear that collated thing, but I can enjoy that if it's something that maybe I don't know that much about, So like, if it was a category where, like, let's say that somebody's just telling me what is the public perception of something that happened in K-pop, right? Like, maybe some big event happens in K-pop, and then, there's like an internet news source that has a video about how everyone's reacting to that. That might intrigue me because I don't know fucking shit about it, and I'm not following its fan base, and But if it's anime, and say like, Glass Reflection makes a video where he's trying to sort of collect public sentiment into a overall piece, I'm like, yeah, but I already read everyone's reviews, like, I don't need to see somebody repeat all that. So it's hard for me to imagine myself trying to become a top anime YouTuber, because I kind of look at it like I got in, I did the thing I was there to do, and then now I just kind of am sprinkling out, like, usually I feel like my content is either me rephrasing something I was trying to say before but said poorly, or bringing a really new idea that I want other people to think about forward, one of the videos I did recently was a good example of this. Oh, actually the first one, anime with villainous heroes, right? No, antagonistic heroes, yes. Antagonists as heroes in anime. Like, what's my next video about? It's the Jujutsu Kaisen versus Evangelion storytelling spirals. I can't explain it any better than that without just doing the video, so you're just gonna have to wait for it to know what the hell it means. But yeah, like, the heroic antagonists in anime video, like, it started with me watching Cat's Eye, thinking about how interesting it is that, like, the antagonist is such a good guy, and how that kind of reminds me of Lupin the Third, which had also been airing earlier that night on the same channel, and then I thought about L from Death Note, and I was like, okay, who else is there? And I was shocked by how few examples I could come up with. So to me, that video was kind of like, hey, here's all of the anime with heroic antagonists that I know of. A, do you know any more? Do you have any more thoughts about this? And like, also B, have you even considered this as like a writing tool? Like, for there to be so few stories that have antagonistic or heroic antagonists is how I should say it. It's not that they're antagonistic, it's that they are just the antagonist of the story because the hero is in some way a villain, Even if they are still kind of a hero, they're trying to do something that the antagonist is not wrong for trying to stop them from doing, So like, it's just not something that gets used that much, and that surprised me. And so that kind of ended up becoming to me the point of the video, is to highlight how underutilized this thing is and see if other people will take that and run with it,